Yo, Cubs, we are back, and the Chicago Cubs dropped their first game against the Chicago White Sox, and it was a disappointing loss, and we're going to get into that right after this. Alright, so as you know, the Chicago Cubs dropped their first game against the Chicago White Sox, and honestly, it was a big surprise, and it was very disappointing. But today, Kyle Hendricks was on the bump, and honestly, I thought he had a pretty decent start. And it was a good comeback start from the last start he had. That was not good at all. Today he pitched 6 innings, he only gave up 7 hits, 3 ERA, 2 walks, and 4 Ks. Honestly, it was a pretty good outing for Kyle Hendricks, and I thought he pitched very well. And I was kind of happy that, from what I saw, I was happy with what he did. But then Merriweather came in after Hendricks and gave up a run, and Alzolay also gave up a run in the 9th. So going to the bottom of the 9th, it was 5-3, and we kind of got closed out in the bottom of the 9th. But we were a little slow offensively today, but Hendricks kept the game close and kept the score 3-3 from the time that he came out of the game. And there's two guys I want to talk about that. I mean, me personally, I think they're really struggling, and it shouldn't be in the lineup. Morel, I mean, he's a strikeout machine. You know, if he hits the ball, it's power. He can hit he'll hit a double home run, all that. But if it's not a double or home run, it's a strikeout. And his strikeout rate's pretty high. And as well as, he did strike out twice tonight, but he also did hit a home run to tie the game up at 3-3. But they both are striking out I don't know, they can't even hit the ball. I mean, they should be. I mean, let's talk about that. David Ross got ejected for God knows what. I mean, he didn't. It was in between innings, and he was ejected by the third base umpire, which I don't know what he was arguing. And it seems that David Ross kind of argues the little things. I believe it was on a balk. I'm not 100% sure though. But David Ross seems to argue the little things and doesn't really argue big things like the strike calls that we get. I mean, the umps were terrible today again. Not on the field, not the base umpires, but the home plate umpire calling strikes. I mean, he was very, very bad today. But ultimately, the Cubs got stunned this game and dropped the game to the White Sox. And if they can't win tomorrow, that's going to be a big problem. But maybe today was just a fluke, and they come back tomorrow and win it. But today, I mean, the game's over. I mean, we can't really sit on it. And we have to move on to today's game against the White Sox. And Javier Assad is pitching today. And honestly, he pitched a gem the last time he pitched against the Blue Jays. So I'm excited to see him on the bump, and I'm excited to see him pitch. I think we can honestly win this game. I think just our offense wasn't rolling that well last night. And I think it kind of brought us down. And the pitching from the bullpen was not the greatest. Our starter, Kyle Hendricks, he did pretty good. But the bullpen was all right. And we kind of have to get the offense back in flow and kind of flowing and get our hits. I mean, we had 2 home runs, which were an Ian Happ, 2 home run. And then Seiya Suzuki, he had a solo bomb. But after that, we only had 3 singles. That's not going to cut it for the Cubs team. And that does not look like the Cubs team at all. We all know the Cubs team, they do way better than that, and they can hit the ball better than that and get more bases than that. And honestly, I think that it was a very disappointing game. But we got to move on. We're playing the Sox again today, and I think this is a winnable game. Javier Assad's pitching. I mean, if he can pitch how he did against the Blue Jays, we'll be set. But that's going to be all for this one, guys. Let me know what you guys thought about the Sox and Cubs game last night. I was very disappointed, but that's just my opinion. But hit that sub button for more Bulls and Cubs content, and see blue. Peace.